All right, welcome back, everyone. Lovely to see you all as always. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So by repeating a word or phrase, or using your anchor, or by focusing in on your subject. And start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. And allowing that light or energy to shine out from your heart. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. Now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each little cell just for existing. Very, very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Loving that little you exactly as they are. And then allow that light, that energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood. Everything, everyone, every event, every circumstance, every experience, no matter what, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all. Feeling that power. Very, very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill everyone who's on the call today. Everyone who's on camera, everyone who's off camera. Loving each one just for existing. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes. And let's check in with everybody. How you doing? So, Ildiko, you're first up on my screen. How are you today?
Hi. Thank
Hi.
you. Thank you. I'm good. I've done some gardening and I hurt my back, but other than that, I'm
Ah,
good.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. I have it already some time that I have to be careful with it, and I was just packing ground into buckets and transporting them, and then yeah, that's what you get.
Oh, sorry.
But
Oh,
I also did my homework. Look, I started my imaginary family tree.
oh, very
It
good.
it's not yet ready yet. It's my mom's side. It's kind of yeah.
Good
There are some
job.
details.
That's fantastic. Well
Yes.
done.
So I
And
really
how does,
have a lot of fun with that.
I was going to say, how does it feel to do that?
Yeah, especially for great grandparents whom I didn't know and I have no information about. It's very easy. It's a lot of fun. I also watched a classic Hungarian movie during the weekend. I had a lot of fun with that because it's just like a rom-com from the 50s. It's really fun, and I also used some characters from there and some situations because it's just very light-hearted and yeah, just easy, kind of.
Perfect. Oh, good job, Ildiko. That's fantastic. Yay. Very good. And did you have any questions for today?
Well, we talked with Stephen about how to go around the resistance, what I feel with my grandmas, because yeah, I knew them and I have heard stories. I don't have very big emotional response to those stories, but we discussed that I could write due justice letters from their perspective, because probably they had very hard childhoods, and that's why they became very complicated women and mother-in-laws. They were hard on my family. So
yes,
so that's my plan.
And so the due justice, and then of course, yes, as you say, changing their childhoods as well to what it would have been like if they'd changing their childhoods, and then see what they would have been like if they'd had better childhoods. Very good, Ildiko. I'm very proud of you and very excited for you. Good job. Excellent. And thank you for sharing here, because it encourages others as well. Good job. All right. And Lisa, hi there. How are you today?
Oh, great. I am reading your book still.
Good.
I love it so much. So here, it's page 63. So I'm going to read that really briefly. Using your superpower, loving the lack, loving yourself and the entire situation, even if it never happens, releasing the resistance. And then you just keep doing it until it works like magic. So I love that, because it's like you just have to keep reminding yourself over and over, and it does work. You just gotta allow it, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm enjoying it. So I'm continuing my drawing. This one is, can you see?
Yes. Oh, lovely.
You have your dreams, like your atomic dreaming bubble from the aliens.
Nice.
So you see your dreams, you're holding them in your hand, and it's for kids and adults,
Yes, absolutely. That's
so
lovely.
It's fun. So it's fun. And that's it. So
lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lisa. You always bring such shininess to this group. We really appreciate you.
I ordered the chai tea from the Happy Coffee. That was very good. So I thought I'd let everybody know how wonderful it is. It tastes really good.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Yes, I like it as well. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
All right. Let's go on to Swasti. Hi, Swasti.
Hello.
Today.
I'm good, thank you. So I used the breathing technique yesterday. So I watched the video.
Yes. How did you find that?
Yeah, everything that you've told me regarding the exam and like the stress around it, kind of added up to something really good, and I improved my score by quite a lot. Good. Like within one mock exam, I was like, whoa. Yes. Yeah. I know I'm going to continue to improve because I've changed memories of staying still and stuff as well. So
fantastic. Good job, Swasti. And that is such a perfect example of bringing the prefrontal cortex online and how much it affects, of course, because it's your cognitive thinking. Yay for you. Good job. And thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. But I had a question. So I find it really hard to get anything done in the morning. Yes. But like from, let's say now onwards, like 4 o'clock onwards to like almost 1 a.m. in the morning, I'm like go, go, go. So I almost live half a day. So I almost do like what everybody would do in the whole day in half a day. Right. I don't know. I want to be able to do more in the mornings, but I just don't have the energy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's a reference or not, but I haven't found anything.
Let's look at this. What time do you normally go to sleep? So if you go from 4 p.m. till 1 a.m., what time do you normally go to sleep?
1:30.
About 1:30. And what time do you normally wake up?
Like 10 o'clock.
So, okay, yeah. So when you wake up at around 10, what happens? How do you feel? What do you think of? What do you do, or what do you wish you could do?
So I feel like I feel like I can do something and I want to. Yes. But then I go downstairs and like, so getting ready, like taking a shower and stuff, usually should take me like half an hour, but it takes more time because like the rest of the family is also running around getting breakfast and stuff. And then I'm just like, and then I become kind of tired from that. Yeah.
Okay. So in an ideal world, and if you could wave at one, what time would you like to wake up?
5 a.m.
You'd like to wake up at 5, and what would you do at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I would study just to get out of that out of the way, and then have the rest of the day to do whatever I want to do.
Fantastic. And so after studying, what's the first thing you would do?
Probably exercise, and then like cooking, or probably cleaning my room, and then learning something, and then changing these memories.
Very good. And how would it feel after having done all of that?
I would feel really good, and a sense of routine. Well, I have a routine now, but I don't like that routine.
Yes, exactly. And so, of course, the reason you're feeling tired in the morning is because you're going to bed, you know, in the morning, basically. So your day is just shifted, you know, so it's shifted to the later slot. Now, if you wanted to, what I would recommend, and you could see if it works for you or not, different people are different, of course, but in order to feel more energized in the morning, you would need to go to bed earlier in the evenings. But to suddenly go from 1 a.m. to like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, that's quite a jump. So what you could do is either go in increments of 30 minutes or 15 minutes. So in other words, tonight, instead of 1:30, you could go to bed at 1, and then tomorrow at 12:30, and the next day at 12, and so on. Work it back to where, so if you wanted to wake up at 5, you would need to go to bed at like 9, right? So that you've got plenty of sleep. And you could work it back to like 6 o'clock. So you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 6 a.m. and then see how that goes. So rather than trying to do a big jump, do little bit increments. And if 30 minutes is too much, do 15 minutes earlier each week, so that your brain and body get used to it. And it'll be easier to fall asleep, because if you just went to bed like at 10 now, you probably would have trouble getting to sleep.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And while we're on this topic, I wanted to also recommend a book. It's on Audible. I'm sure it's a hard copy as well, but it's on Audible, the audio book, The Compound Effect. And I need to get his name. I can't remember his name. It is an excellent book. And, you know, the idea of going to bed 30 minutes or 15 minutes earlier, I've had that for a long time, but it also happens to fit in with this book. So it's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And as I say, it's on Audible. It's very, very good for, now there's a lot that he talks about that doesn't fit in with what we teach, and that I don't necessarily agree with. So things like you have to struggle and work hard, that kind of stuff, not so much. But there's enough in it that is powerful, is useful, is helpful to make it worth listening to. And you could listen to it or read it and just take what works for you and leave the rest. But there's some good stuff in there, so that I think you'll also benefit from specifically. So how does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. And then also at the same time as you're doing that little bit by little bit, earlier and earlier, keep in the front of your mind that end result, that feeling of what it's going to feel like when you're able to wake up early, feeling energized, and you've done everything you want to do, and then it's done early, how that feels, so that you're setting that as your destination.
Okay. Yeah, I also think that just like the rest of the family's routine kind of gets in the way, because everybody actually sleeps at like 12 in my house, including my 5-year-old brother. So it's like you're kind of expected to. I guess that's a reference, maybe. You're expected
to? What
like
goes late?
Yeah, expected to do like a lot of things together. So we go for a walk at like 8 o'clock and then come back at 9. And then like sometimes you have to watch TV with the whole family. But yesterday I was like, I'm not going to do that. I just want to study and then sleep. So, yeah.
So you know, bringing it back in little increments also helps your family get used to it. So, you know, you're going to bed a little bit earlier. And once they see the results as well, once they see you're getting up earlier and getting stuff done, they may appreciate that as well, right?
Probably, yeah.
Especially if it improves your work, your grades, since that's what your parents are most concerned about.
Okay,
Sound
thank you.
good? You're very welcome, sweetheart. Very welcome. Good job, you. All right. And then is that everybody who's on camera today? Something from the chat, Steve?
Yes, I got a note from Sue, and if she's able to hear this right now, Sue, you're up, and she was going to turn her camera on. She has a question. Here we go.
Hey.
Let's get out of the kitchen so that I'm not distracted.
How are you?
Yeah, it's just, I'm fine. I have to practice that. I did it in the car just now and it did help a bit.
Good, yes.
No, I'm not fine. I mean, I feel not fine.
Okay.
I feel, how can I put it? Derailed. Because every time, you know, like I feel like I'm getting somewhere, and then it seems like every time something physical shows up, I just go down to the bottom. And I don't know why. It's obviously programs running in the background, but and what happened was that when was that? Sunday I had a bit of a toothache, and then yesterday it was very sore, like anything hot or cold. And then I also had a headache yesterday, so I was really feeling bombarded.
Yeah.
And I lay down. I took some paracetamol and I lay down, and then I woke up and I don't know what happened how I was lying or whatever, but my chest and my back were sore. And it was on the left side, and I have a program from Switzerland days that anything on the left, you are going to die because you're going to have a heart attack. Or you've got some massive heart problem. And that has been my program, which I thought I was over, but obviously I'm not, because it really triggered me. And I've also had a bit of a tummy thing going, which might also just be a nerve thing, or maybe it's because of something I ate over the weekend. And yeah, and then I just fall into this space of anxiety and overwhelm, and I'm going to see a doctor and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I have to go and see a dentist. I've made an appointment for next week, and on the short list.
Okay.
But I don't want to go and see a doctor. I just don't like doctors.
Okay. There's another program. So there's a few things there. All right. So
I'll go see a homeopath, but I won't see a doctor.
So what's wrong
I'll
with
avoid
doctors?
They always seem to come with all sorts of medicines that you should take. And I mean, when was that? In 2013, I was told that I was, 10% or even more, 15 or 20% more likely to have a heart attack than anybody else my age by my doctor.
And what was
he told me I'd always scared of the ghost, and I was always scared of the ghost, and now I must be scared of the tiger. And I just thought, like, I've had it with doctors. You don't tell me stuff like that.
All right, so let's unpack that, because this is so. I don't like doctors and all doctors do this, that, and the other. That's a program that will be affecting other things in your life, not just whether you go to a doctor or not. So let's unpack it for a moment. So it's just that one doctor that said that?
Well, a long time ago, when I first started having like panic attacks, I actually phoned a doctor and I went to see him at sort of 8 o'clock at night or whatever. And then he said to me that I probably wouldn't live beyond 40. You know, it's like,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, and so that particular doctor,
I didn't go and see him again.
You didn't see him again, quite right too. Okay, very good. And then of course there are other doctors, right?
Yeah.
And
I haven't found a good one.
Okay, and so does anyone you know go to a doctor that seems to be a good doctor?
Gosh, I don't know. No, not that I know of. I mean, there's a doctor in where my sister lives. I've seen him a couple of times. He's quite a nice doctor. You can talk to him.
Great.
And,
okay.
you know, like he listens and he doesn't come up with alarmist stories, you know, like that's what I've found with doctors. They come up with all these alarming stories. And then I think also what triggered me yesterday morning was somebody sent me a message saying that the local doctor, the one that told me that I could have a heart attack, he told me, I mean, I don't know where this came from, but that he's been testing all the people in the village, or every person that's come to him to be tested and with symptoms has had tested positive for COVID. And then I just go like, oh my God, you know, like panic. So any sort of like today, I didn't sleep much last night, just everything all together. And I woke up really early this morning. And so I went and I had a nap earlier. But what was happening was all these, you know, like it's all disaster stories. And then I thought, when I was feeling really weak and tired today, then I thought, like, oh, maybe this is one of the symptoms of COVID, you know, like, and then I go like, oh, you know, like I actually say for loud, oh, FFS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and then just shut up and, you know, like just. And then another little thing says, no, maybe you should really listen to this stuff. You know, like maybe you do need to be scared. Maybe you really need to be more cautious and, you know, like all stories.
Okay. All right. So what we're aiming for, the end result we want to aim for is that because, you know, doctors are great for certain things. I mean, there's, you know, you don't want to have a blanket thing of, I don't do doctors, or I don't.
Yeah, sure.
All doctors are bad. Right. So you want to, because every you know, medical professional, you know, they can save your life. So it's really important. And what you want to do, of course, is choose good one. And now with the internet, there are, you know, it's easier than ever to find people in any particular thing you're looking for who are good, you know, got reviews, right? So you can find out, you can even put it on Facebook. Does anyone know of you know, ask for a recommendation on Facebook. And in addition to that, it's about, of course, changing the references. So so you mentioned that one doctor who said that you had a higher chance of having a heart attack, and that you won't live past 40, that first one. Any references for doctors before that? And if not, that's okay.
Not really. I mean, maybe one. When I was really young and I used to get really bad stomach aches. And then the doctor came to the house. I don't know, but you see, like, and then I think, no, man, you're just imagining this, because mom and dad would never have let that happen. But I don't know if we went to him or if he came to the house. And he made me take off all my clothes because I had a tummy ache.
Okay.
And I go like, my God, that's a bit screwed, you know, when I look at it now.
Okay, so there's where that could be the original reference for not trusting a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Not trusting doctors, because that would, so whether that, like you say, oh, but your mum and dad wouldn't have let that happen, whether it did happen or it didn't happen, Even if you've made it, or you've got it from somewhere else or something, if it's there, it's real. As far as your subconscious is concerned, it exists, right?
Yeah.
Even if it was that you heard someone talking about it, it might as well have happened if your subconscious has taken that as a real experience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to change that, definitely.
Yeah.
So perhaps you could change it to where it could be a stepping stone, where instead of taking all your clothes off, you had a swimming costume on and you were all going swimming. And then change it so that could be the stepping stone, and then the final memory can just be that you didn't have to take your clothes off.
You didn't have it. Yeah. I can almost go straight to the final one without the stepping stone.
Okay. So
I don't know. Is that? Can I?
Yes. I don't see why not. It would only be the actual action of taking your clothes off was there as an established reference that could be attributed to a swimming costume. But if not, that's okay. If you can go straight to the end result, how does it feel to imagine that as the end result right now?
Well, I mean, the other thing is that he just comes and then I just have to actually just lift my shirt while he prods my stomach.
Right.
That's what's actually happening. And then I remember, and this is also true because another time that he did come, because my parents were at a loss because it happened so often, like several times a week.
Wow.
That I would have these terrible stomach aches. And then he was prodding, and then he said, "Oh, I'll never have ulcers because of the way that my ribs are formed." And that's something that's stuck in my mind all my life.
Right. Okay.
So that can be my stepping stone, like.
That's great. And then add to that, since that's already there, add to that where he says you will never have any heart issues because of the way your ribs are formed or whatever,
Okay. Yeah.
You might as well ride that, make the most of that. And anything else that you feel, this would be a healthier, a better belief or whatever, plant that there as well and take advantage of that fertile ground that's already there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And practice it over and over till it's established.
Yeah. Because we didn't actually see doctors that much when I was growing up, like he was the only doctor I ever saw, and I maybe saw him 3 times.
Right. But that memory of being made to take all your clothes off for a stomach ache, that clearly had an impact.
Yes.
So
and then I go, okay, why was I getting stomach aches?
Yes. Well, that's the next piece, of course, so that's the doctor piece done. So you make sure you establish that really well and make the doctor fun as well. You go there and you're fine, and then change it so that you didn't have stomach aches. You went for a checkup, and every time you went for a checkup, like you go for a dental checkup, you used to go to the doctor for a checkup once or twice a year, and he would go, I've never seen a healthier girl. You are like my star patient because there's never anything wrong with you. You've got such a strong constitution. You're the healthiest child that I've seen, that kind of thing. Really build it up. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And then the stomach aches. So what was there any cause identified for these stomach aches or?
No.
Okay. And can you remember the first time or the first memory you have of a stomach ache?
Well, the first memory I have is when we were with my grandmother, when we were living with my grandmother.
Okay. And what happened?
I feel, well, we stayed with my grandparents for the school term and went home only during school holidays for 4 or 5 years. When I was about 7, I think.
Okay. When did stomach aches start?
That's when they started.
When was that little boy shot?
When I was about 10. That was on the same.
So the stomach aches started before that.
Before that, I think so. Yeah.
Remember, that was a stomach thing. He was shot in the stomach, right?
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Hey? No, I think it was before that.
Okay. But it could have continued.
And it was just the typical, the typical thing, and which was stomach ache, but also diarrhea. I would be on the toilet for an hour sometimes.
Right. Okay. So it's probably too big to get to the bottom of. Oh, pardon the pun, but probably
sure.
too big to get to the crux of it right now. But I would say do the doctor thing first. Make sure that you establish that, and then and see what comes up with the stomach thing. You can leave it, and then just allow your subconscious to bring anything up. And it may look like it's not connected, but address it anyway. And then so the headache is gone now?
Yes, the headache was gone last night. Then it was replaced with a pain in my chest and a funny tummy.
So
oh my gosh.
Doctor, once you change those references about a doctor, then see if you can find a good doctor who's recommended. Right. And it can be just the online, as long as they've got good reviews and they're a proper doctor and all of that, but you do get where you can just, communicate with them online or on the phone. So in other words, you don't have to physically go in necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. And just make sure that you do the research to make sure it's a good doctor, but change those references first. So that otherwise that will affect who you choose. And get some advice from friends. Friends and family, who knows of a good doctor, who knows of a good medical professional or whatever.
I hear medical professional and I just go like, nah, stay away. It's very strong. And that's why I will not always, 90% of the time, I will go to the homeopath. Yeah. And I'm forgetting, there is a really good doctor. She's actually, I think she's about 75, and she's one of those old-fashioned doctors. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't just like fill in the prescription form with, take this and take that, and if that happens, then take that, and like.
Now, let me just stop you there for a moment because I want to challenge that belief a moment. Yeah. What does a homeopath do?
It's just that the medication or the preparations that a homeopath give do not have all the radical side effects that normal medicine does. And what it does, it's the way that she approaches it, it's to fix imbalances in your system for whatever reason.
Okay, so anything stopping you from going to the homeopath about these symptoms?
No. It just costs lots of money.
You can start there. But it would probably it costs less when you compare it to the suffering and the
yeah, true,
right?
And she's also a friend of mine, so I know she looks out for me very, very well.
Okay, so you could change the references of the doctor anyway, because you don't want to. You want to choose whether you go to a doctor or not strategically and logically, and for logical reasons, not because all doctors are this or because I don't like them or whatever programs are there. Yeah. So you want to make that decision based on logic and reasoning and strategy rather than on emotion or fear or preconceived ideas, because there are good doctors and there are not good doctors. Just like anything else.
Yeah. And I think I tend to be a little bit like that. Like I had a bladder infection, I don't know if it was last year or the year before last, and I went to the homeopath, and then I was taking her stuff, and it like wasn't getting better, and in fact was getting worse. So then I went to the old lady doctor. Mm-hmm. And she eventually found out what the whole cause of the thing was. But I mean, I was put onto antibiotics, and because I was really sick. I mean, like radical fever, and it was really too scary. And so, that was, and my homeopath is also like that. If it's something out of her field, then she'll say go to a doctor.
So change the references first, and then make strategic decisions without emotional, without being swayed emotionally, just strategy and logic. And then in addition to that, check what it means to, so this whole thing about physical symptoms and that, check what it means to you. So you've got fear there about having a heart attack and fear of, you know, these symptoms and that. So that's the other place to go. Check those childhood memories, any references about, you know, physical symptoms. If not, if there are, change them. If not, then go with what does this mean to me, or how does this feel, or who does this remind me of? And it may have nothing to do with physical symptoms. Just, you know, looking for those references, and make sure you, of course, change them to the opposite, positive, empowering, and practice those new ones.
Yeah, because I think that the you know, like that thing about not being or not having much faith in doctors was because I mean, maybe I went to other doctors too, I don't know, but I was seen by doctors because of my stomach
Yes.
aches, and I was always told there was nothing wrong with me, but yet there was.
Yes. So there's another perfect reference.
Oh my gosh, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just come up now.
So change all of that, because that
was quite interesting, because I feel quite a lot of emotion when I think of back then.
Yeah. And because that little you,
wow,
what she must have gone through. Yeah. So
because I just feel like if I had been heard, gosh, this is leading back to all sorts of things. If I'd been heard when I was young, and like my stomach is hurting, why? And if they had really, then I probably wouldn't have all the flippin' issues I have in my life these days.
Exactly. Now, I've seen another link. This thing of not being heard, not being acknowledged, remind you of anything in your life right now?
Oh, yeah.
Your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So perfect references you found there. And of course, be sure to change it. Now, you may need to do due justice. I would say do a due justice letter on this. Let them have it for not listening to you and not hearing you and acknowledging and understanding and everything that should have been. And let them have it about what the results are. You know, what this, if they, like you said, if you'd been heard, then you wouldn't have get all of that out into that due justice letter.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do that.
Good job. And then once you've done that, you can change it. So you want to end up with, of course, I would definitely do stepping stone with that, where you are heard. You say it and they go and they take it seriously. They drop everything and they pay attention and they do whatever it takes to sort it out, to get you the help. And then it's okay. Then you heal. And then you don't have stomach aches anymore. And then a final memory and practice that 3 times. And then the final memory where you never did have stomach aches.
Yeah. Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Good job, Sue. Very good. Yes. And thank you for sharing here, because I know it will help others as well. Good job, Sue.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
You're very welcome. Okay, and anything else here, Steve, from the...
Yes, I have a couple of questions. And the first one is, sorry, scrolling back through. Question, don't bad memories serve to protect us? For example, if we never touched that hot stove or stepped on that Lego, or insert scenario here, how could we know what we don't want it? How would we know that we don't want it to happen again?
Okay, very, very good. So as a good question. And so there are a couple of different types of memory. And of course, there's the conscious and the subconscious in addition. So you've got procedural memory, and you've got instinctive memory. You know, so we don't need to practice touching a hot stove and it hurting. That's instinctive. That happens, and that's, you know, established, and that's survival. Declarative memory is when we know we've learned something. So for example, my bad memories of being, you know, let's say the memory, I'm trying to pick one, memories of being bullied as a child. I know that I had those, I know that I learned that. I know that I experienced that. And so that's there as declarative memory. I don't, it's not an instinct, a survival instinct. So those kind of memories where you went through that. So I'm trying to find an easy way to describe it, but hot stove, I don't need to remember. I don't remember how I learned the first time I touched a hot stove. It's just, I know that that's hot, so I don't touch it. I don't have the original memory consciously. Being bullied, I can remember it consciously. But here's the thing, is that it's in the subconscious. And the subconscious doesn't need all the details. The subconscious just needs to have that instinct. So in other words, if somebody looks threatening and I'm in danger, I'm going to instinctively not keep going. I'm not going to walk down a dark alley at night on my own, for example. That's instinctive and it's conscious. So I know not to walk out in front of moving traffic because that's, I didn't need to be hit by a car in order to know that. So we don't have to learn from experience in order to be safe. You don't have to be hit by a car to not walk out in front of moving traffic. You actually don't need to touch a hot stove in order to not get burnt, because as soon as you can comprehend, you can be told, don't touch that, it's hot, and that kind of thing. So the being bullied example, I don't need to remember that I don't need to keep that memory of being bullied in order to stay safe, even by the same people. So let's say I had an uncle who, and this isn't true, but let's say I had an uncle who abused me. And so now I changed those memories to where he didn't abuse me, and instead we're playing games, we went swimming, however I've changed those memories and I practiced them over and over. Now, I would still, if I had children, that were small, I would still not leave my children alone with him, because I know consciously what originally happened. I don't have to hold on to the original trauma in order to be safe, because I'm using my logic, because that's not instinctive. That's not, getting burnt on a stove. That's not that reflex. It's not reflex memory. So I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. Because, and the thing is, because those memories, because whatever memories we've got are not just about that particular thing. They're, of course, forming the foundation of who we are and how the world works in the subconscious. So me, if I was abused by an uncle, if I held on to those memories in order to stay safe now, those memories would still be proving I'm a victim, I'm not worthy, all men are dangerous, however that was interpreted, and it would be affecting other areas of my life. All right.
Awesome. And thanks for, sharing that brilliance that, has been certified with your passing of your Harvard neuroscience course. We're lucky to have that.
Memory versus procedural memory, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wow, she's using some of those really big Harvard words. That's great.
Well, not really, but yeah.
No. Another question. Could you remind me, what should we do when we don't find a memory for a feeling or a problem? I just have the feeling for it sometimes.
Okay. So if you just have the feeling for it and you can't find a memory, then I would say use Steve's new technique, which is starting with allowing the feeling. So let's say I feel sadness, but I don't know where it comes from. Then I would start by just allowing that, noticing the sadness and allowing it to be. And that takes that arm wrestling out of it. So I notice the sadness. Where am I feeling it in my body? and just allowing it like you're allowing a child to cry because they're just expressing themselves. So allow that feeling to express itself in whatever way. And doing that immediately pulls you back a little bit into observer mode, so you're not in the feeling. You're starting to come back. As soon as you start to notice it, it changes your perspective from being it to watching it. And that already starts to bring the stress chemicals down. And as you do that, you may notice it changes, and you may notice memories come up. Now, if they don't, that's also okay. Continue with that little technique that Steve has come up with. So you allow it to get as big as it gets and be wherever it is, and then step back and notice what it is. So notice if it's got a little character, or if it's if it's got a visual or a texture. Just notice what it is. And again, the act of noticing is helping to bring those stress chemicals down and pull you back into observer mode, so it empowers you, so you're not in the quagmire. And then you can do the rest of the little exercise from Steve, which is, if it had a message, or what does it need? What is it saying to you? Does it need something? Whatever that is, and then giving it a place to live. So that, I can't remember which episodes you went through that, Steve, but we've probably got in the show notes. I'm sure we can just.
Yeah, they're recent. Yeah, they're recent episodes. And I really do feel like this activity is another version of the do justice technique, that you're giving the feeling that opportunity to be there. You're giving that feeling voice. So in doing that, I would say my experience has been working with other clients and for myself, that whenever I am in that place of just allowing it to be there, sending unconditional, being in that state of unconditional love with it, oftentimes that's when the memories start coming.
Right.
That's the connection. So, yeah.
Right. So that unconditional love. And then, so see what happens with that. And then, of course, you still want to, now, then you don't have any memories, create new memories from scratch. So let's say the feeling is sadness, you want to go to your childhood and just create brand new memories of joy and happiness. And when you do that, again, you may find that memories suddenly come up that you can change. You're welcome. And sometimes I feel more stress because I think that I'm not going to be able to change that when I don't find the memory. Yeah. So here's an understanding that may help. We cannot, it's just not physiologically possible for the majority, unless you've got a special ability. We cannot remember everything that's happened to us. We can't remember all our memories consciously, but they're in the subconscious. Now, when we change a memory, we're not changing even when we change one memory consciously, it's not just one memory that's being changed. Your subconscious will automatically change whatever's connected to it, if it can. And only if it can't do that will you suddenly remember something else. So when you create brand new memories from scratch, when you can't remember a negative memory to change, so you create a new memory from scratch, your subconscious will automatically change anything that contradicts it, unless it has proof to the opposite, in which case you'll suddenly remember it. So again, using the sadness thing, if I start creating wonderful memories of joy and happiness, and the whole family is happy and we always had fun, if my subconscious has evidence to the contrary, that it cannot change automatically, I will suddenly remember my mum crying or people fighting or whatever that is, and then I can change that. So I hope that helps, but let me know if you need, oh good. You're very welcome, good job. All right, Steve, is that it for now? And then we go.
I think so. I just wanted to do a quick check because I see that Chris turned her screen on. Did any?
Hi, Chris.
Hi, hello everyone, and I'm coming and going a little like Sue, but nothing too special. I'm working on what we did yesterday for my mother and her and my sense of sublimation of certain feelings. But just coming up now in that what you've just been describing, that was helpful again with a little incident with my granddaughter I'm on holiday with, and she has some struggles with transitioning, and so she gets very angry in those moments, as little ones can do, and it has triggered something, and I know it does trigger something. So but I can't, apart from associations with my father, so but no specific memories. So that idea of giving the feeling voice, bringing unconditional love to the situation, sending that to it, and then just creating another happy childhood. That will help, more than help, I think.
Good. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and also, and I'm sure you're probably already doing this, but in the times when you're not with your granddaughter, be sure to fill yourself with that unconditional love and send that to her, and fill her with that unconditional love exactly as she is, getting angry, whatever she's doing, love her while she's getting angry, without needing her to change or stop or anything, because that will also help you to be calm and just allow. Sound good?
Does, yeah. Thank you.
And you can pre-pave that way. You can pre-pave before you
the
spend
other
time
one.
and
Thank you.
at the end of the day, replay what happened. Remember where she was very angry, and fill that with unconditional love, exactly, light, love, energy, exactly as it was, without needing it to change.
That's good, because that fits in with other questions I've asked, and the pre-paving. I do a general pre-pay for the whole holiday, but the specific, it's a good reminder.
Yeah, and you could, I say this for everybody, one can pre-pave every day. When you wake up, before you get out of bed, just imagine your whole day and just send love and light to the whole day exactly as it is, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Chris. Thank you for sharing that, love. And happy holiday.
Yeah, it is.
All right, then let's do the targeting. And Steve, if you could send me the targets, please. Thank you. All right, so take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. And feel that expansion feeling in your chest. Feel your heart opening. And feel that light shining out from you, that light, that energy, that love shining out from you. And now allow that light, that energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill every cell of your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. And now fill your target, your subject, fill your subject with that light, that energy, that love, exactly as they are. And then imagine they don't want to be with you, or they don't have the qualities that you appreciate and love about them, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Very good. And now let's go to Ildiko, Fill Ildiko with that same light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Ildiko just for existing. Very, very good. And now to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa, just for existing. Good job. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill her cousin. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa's cousin, just for existing. Allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa's cousin and fill whatever the results are of her post-op surgical appointment, whatever the results, fill that with that light, that energy, that love, shining a light into any darkness and loving everything exactly as it is. And then allow that light to overflow from Lisa and fill the financial circumstances of everybody, no matter what they are, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it is. Good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris, just for existing. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill her granddaughter. From the tips of her little toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Chris's granddaughter, just for existing exactly as she is. No matter how she responds or reacts, no matter what emotional transitions she's experiencing and whether she's able to cope with them or not, love it all anyway exactly as it is, without needing it to change, shining that light into any darkness. And now fill that part of Chris that responds to her granddaughter. However she responds, love it exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all anyway. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti, just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Swasti and fill the IQ exam results and the preparation. Whatever that is, however it goes, no matter what the results are, and no matter how the preparation goes, love it all exactly as it is. Shining that light into any darkness and loving it all anyway. Very, very good. And now to Sue. Fill Sue with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Sue, just for existing. And allowing that light, that energy to overflow from Sue and fill all of the physical symptoms, whatever those may be and whatever's causing them, wherever they come from. Love it all exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Good job. And now to Camilla. Fill Camilla with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Camilla, just for existing. Good job. And now allow that light, that energy to fill the part of Camilla that's easily triggered. Whatever part that is, whatever the cause, love it exactly as it is, even if she continues to be easily triggered. Love it all anyway, shining that light into any darkness, loving Camilla and that part of her, whether she's triggered or not, exactly as she is. Very good. Good job. And then now to everyone who's on this call today but off camera, and everyone who's watching the recording, fill them with the same light, this energy, this love, exactly as they are, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love each one just for existing, no matter what. Very, very good. And now thinking of yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing or experiencing or feeling, allow this light, this energy to fill that version of you, loving that version of you just for existing, no matter what, shining the light into any darkness, feeling that power as you do that. Good job. And now pick a target, something that triggers you, something that triggers you in your own life or in the world today, and maintain this light, this energy, and fill that target with the same energy, the same light. Loving it all exactly as it is, without needing it to change, shining this light into any darkness. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And hope that was good for everyone. And we will see you back same time, same place tomorrow. You're very, very welcome, sweetheart. Good job. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Keep practicing. Bye-bye now.